Monster Hunter has 14 weapon types, but you only need one to define your personality. Maybe you study the blade. Blades, to be exact. Or the bow, the hammer, the bardic inspiration of legend. Or maybe you just pointed a gun at the thing like a true American. Hell yeah, brother. But I've always wondered, with so many ways to hunt, what is it that draws someone to a particular weapon? Can we glean some insight into the player based on their choice? For the foreseeable future, I plan to overthink Monster Hunter, an undertaking I'm sure the world desperately needs. After all, what people truly crave is a Monster Hunter veteran with a completely objective take on every weapon in the game, here to tell you how to feel about your choice. And because I'm so generous, I'll let you in on a little secret up front. The truth is, your favorite weapon is probably just the one you're most familiar and skilled with. But we're not here for truth! Let my neurons fire chaotically! What does your favorite Monster Hunter weapon say about you? So, hear me out. The Greatsword. You like to tackle problems head on, seeing if you can handle them yourself, whether or not you have the exact skills for the job. You'll figure it out, as long as you take your time, confident that with patience and precision, you can overcome any situation. What about this weapon matches this mindset? The Greatsword's slow and deliberate moveset is a commitment. With patience and effort, you will make each hit count, and enemies will fall. This playstyle is what makes the Greatsword an enduring classic of Monster Hunter. Firstly, what does the Greatsword have to offer? Gargantuan hits that can end hunts quickly, if you can land them. The Greatsword is one of the slowest but most versatile weapons available. It can damage parts, cut tails, stun monsters, and block attacks, fulfilling many roles in a party. How does the Greatsword accomplish so much? By being simple but effective, and rooted in the fundamentals of the game. Let's break it down. The most memorable aspect of the Greatsword is its charge feature. Each hit of its standard 3-hit combo are overhead swings that can be charged up to 3 times for extra damage. You can tell your attack has the power boost because your character gets a red aura, growing brighter with each level. First mistake to avoid: overcharging. Just waiting for your character to release the attack will net you less damage than timing it correctly. This little animation your character does is your visual indicator to let go to maximize damage. Now, for the sake of this video, let's call this standard combo Charge 1, Charge 2, and Charge 3. Strong Charge will refer to a fully charged attack, and Weak Charge will refer to an attack that isn't fully charged. These are the 3 main damaging attacks, and most people try to rush to Strong Charge 3. To be fair, this attack can end entire bloodlines, because it is the most damaging attack with extra stagger and part-breaking potential. However, tunnel visioning on the heaviest hitting move is like only using 50% of your potential. You deny your weapon its purpose. The Greatsword has secondary actions you can take between your standard charge attacks: Wide Slash, Rising Slash, Side Blow, Perforate, and the underrated Tackle, or what I like to call the Shoulder Check. They may not be as flashy as other weapons, but trust me, there's more to these basics than meets the eye. How about I tell you things about the Greatsword that the game doesn't teach you? If you're using Charge 1, you can cancel it by shoulder checking a monster. This tackle not only has hyper armor, but also a stunning effect. Land enough of these on a monster's head and you'll knock them over in a daze. Truly, nothing says unstoppable force like a hunter throwing their entire body at a monster mid-charge. I mainly use these to tank through monster attacks if I have no other option, because you know how fast these monsters switch up on people during a hunt. Keep in mind, you will still take a portion of the damage, and if you don't time it right, you're cooked. But that's the trade-off for living your berserk fantasy. If you do manage to shoulder check, then it skips the combo progression by 1, meaning if you charge 1, cancel it with a tackle, the next attack will be charge 2, and so on. It's a way to cycle through attacks to hit charge 3 faster, but keep an eye on that stamina. You can also tackle immediately after dodging an attack, which, again, skips charge 1. Your other option after a charge attack is the Wide Slash, a horizontal sweep with the Greatsword. Good for clearing waves when you're getting jumped, but also for getting quick damage in. I know the standard version looks slow as hell, But if you get a strong charge 1 or 2, the power boost will carry over if you follow with a wide slash, creating a charged wide slash. You can tell because the attack also gets the red highlight. This is a good way to get another charged hit immediately. For some reason, the speed changes, being given the fastest windup in its arsenal. So you can use this when you anticipate a monster is about to move out of your range to get another hit in. The side blow is another option after a tackle, performed by pressing guard and charge attack at the same time. Think of it like a jab in boxing. It's a quick attack that doesn't deal much damage, but can disorient a monster due to its stunning effect. This move also shifts your character forward in the direction you're aiming, and doesn't consume stamina. It's a stamina-efficient way to reposition yourself while also building up stun on a monster. Now let's say you want to combo the secondary actions. Wide slash can be followed by a tackle. Tackle into a wide slash turns it into jumping wide slash. Kinda misleading name, but it's the most mobile attack the greatsword has to offer. The hunter is carried by the weight of the sword, moving in the direction you aimed as he does a wide attack, letting you reposition. It also can be charged by canceling a strong charge with a tackle, thus carrying that power over to the jumping wide slash. This one move also has the highest elemental and status damage out of any of the greatsword's other attacks, making the weapon useful beyond just raw power. And for a moment, you strike a sick pose. The combination of tackle, jumping wide slash, and side blow are your key tools for staying mobile with the greatsword. Most people think of the greatsword playstyle as running around, attacking, sheathing, and repeating. But that approach is really best for builds that maximize damage on the first hit. It's by no means the only way to play. You're not as agile as the dual blades or the insect glaive, but if you make good use of these options, you can move around efficiently even with your weapon drawn. My favorite change has got to be the rising slash, which can now be charged. This shit used to have a crazy windup for a very situational use. Now it is the king of parries, knocking monsters aside easily. Once you've got a feel for the monster's attack patterns, you can start to throw this attack into your combos and use it like you would the tackle. Except this time, you won't simply be tanking an attack. You'll be turning the fight into a stomping for your team. Last but certainly not least is the latest addition to Wilds through the focus mode, which the greatsword benefits from immensely. I still need to try the other weapons, but let me tell you, being able to aim while charging an attack removes about 80% of the weapon's difficulty when it comes to timing. Don't get me wrong, you still have to stop all movement to charge an attack, while the monster is free to move wherever. But it's nowhere near as unforgiving as in previous games. Unfortunately, I still have my old muscle memory, so I keep aiming without it. But I'm sure this makes the greatsword feel so much smoother for newer players. Focus/Perforate is the greatsword's special focus mode attack, which just drags the blade across the monster, destroying wounds like a giant eraser. I like to chain these with strong charge 1 or charge 2 because the attack boost carries over to Perforate. The greatsword is big enough to block attacks, and there isn't much else to this mechanic that's unique to it, except for the kick. While guarding, you can throw out a little kick by pressing your charge attack. This move has been fueling memes since the dawn of time. You can also follow it up with a tackle to jump right back into your combo string. I don't use the kick all that often, but it's there if you need to skip ahead in your combo progression after blocking an attack. Ideally, as with all blade weapons, your priority role in a group is to sever monster tails. After that, it depends on your team. My rule of thumb is let the specialist do their job. For example, hammers are meant to stun monsters by focusing the head, so let them rock. Let them do what they excel at, and you focus on dealing damage elsewhere. However, if your team doesn't have a hammer, then feel free to step up to that face. That's the beauty of the greatsword. All of its tools help you satisfy many roles in a hunt. You have stun potential, you can sever, you have the raw power to break parts, you can tank, and this is by design because the greatsword is meant to be a teacher. Its lengthy wind-up swings are deceptively one of its best features, because it teaches you how to play the game. Monsters rarely stay still, so each swing emphasizes positioning and precision. Missing means surviving a monster's tantrum for the next opportunity. To compensate, You do a lot of damage when you hit, and perfectly timing your charge will give those dopamine spiking big numbers. The Greatsword encourages learning monster moves, timing dodges, and creating openings, which are the fundamentals of Monster Hunter's gameplay. It's why I call this series the original Souls experience. For as much as I love the meme of the big bonk, the Greatsword isn't for the reckless. It's for the disciplined. The hunter who knows that patience wins fights, not panic swings. This is calculated devastation at the palm of your hands. But the power comes at a cost. You'll whiff attacks. Your charge will get interrupted. You'll feel the frustration creeping in, making you want to shout at the world. But that's the learning process. The Greatsword demands resilience. You have to know a monster's patterns better than anyone else, not just to react, but to plan, to predict, meaning you're observant, methodical. Give it enough time, you'll learn anything. And when you finally break through that wall, landing the perfect hit at the perfect time, you're not just satisfied, you're unstoppable. Thank you so much for watching. I could talk for days about Monster Hunter, so if you'd like to see me cover another weapon and what it says about the wielder, be sure to like and subscribe. If this helped you learn more about the Greatsword, consider sharing the video with someone who's been trying to learn. Seriously, if you want to see more, I'm gonna need a new GPU to keep making videos on this game. So every minute viewed counts. If you want to support me directly, you can find that link along with all my others in the description. And as always, my people, thank you for watching.